Hello guys, we are back with another video in which the style is very similar to the best, top players to buy in my opinion. This kind of be kind of similar. So we're gonna start off in goalkeepers, another two goalkeepers. This guy, pretty solid goalkeeper, and he's only, you can get him for basically less than 2 million. He plays in Portugal, starts off in Portugal. To be honest, 29 goals allowed. That's not bad, that's not bad for a team that is playing against the likes of some top dogs. No injury record, so pretty decent. The second goalkeeper is this guy. Below 5 million, you can buy him, and he's a great goalkeeper. 22 as well, so he has a lot of growth. Some injury, only jumping, also like really good and allowing less, not many goals, so that's solid. Then we start going into, there's going to be some expensive players in this list. Mohamed Simakan, great player, a lot of green. He starts off at Leipzig. He's pretty decent. Sometimes he isn't as decent. Sometimes Leipzig don't play as much and his value is lower. But he's a good player, and to be honest, with that value, he's a good player according to Arsenal scouts. I'm currently managing Valentin Gomez, also another good player, less than 6 million. Let's see right now. Okay, they want 9 million now, but he's a good player. Eventually he ends up in most prem teams, but he's like a backup player. He never actually starts, but has a 3-star to 4-star potential, so he's quite good. Moving on, Caleb, Italian center back, really good. You can get him from less than 15 million, and he has played. Normally he doesn't go on loan, normally he's at Atalanta, but I guess this save he is going to another Serie A team to play. But he's a decent striker, he can grow a lot as well, young. Then we have the better version of him, which is Scalvini, who is the guy who starts for Atalanta. Great player. I haven't never actually been able to get him, but if you have a lot of money and you're like a Premier League side and you're trying to improve your defense, this is the guy to improve your defense. 20-year-old only to improve. The other ones are also like those Premier League sides. You want to be grabbing these players. So we have Gonzalo Inacio from Sporting. Have a lot of good players. He's great. 48 million release goals, and he'll still grow a lot. Same with Osama Diamond. Normally you can get him for cheaper, 46 to 57. So don't be too scared if you see like 70 plus. Just go ahead and ask the agent. He's a good player. For Arsenal, he would be better than Gabriel, according to the game and my scouts. Robert Renan is a Flamengo defender who I think is pretty good. In the future, he can grow a lot. He's only 20. You can get him for cheap, less than 15. Obviously, I can't get him right now. He's interested as he just signed a new contract. Sometimes you may be able to grab him later on. And then there's another young players we're trying to focus on. Beraldo is a pretty good Brazilian player. Get him for less than 25 million. Again, he's 20, guys. He's gonna grow and develop. He's playing every game for São Paulo. Then we go to Quinton Timber, who, to be honest, if you're playing a save, I would always go to this league, which is, I guess this. I keep forgetting. Belgium league, right? Netherlands league. My bad. But always go to these PSV, for example. They probably have some star players here that you grab for cheap. This guy's not super bad, but I would go to these leagues and look up some players like Ajax. Their players are gonna be cheaper. Josip is pretty good as well. If you want to buy a centre back from Ajax, I would recommend him. Looking around, Feyenoord would have some good players. They have Quinton Timber, who is a guy he's pretty good, and he's a bit more expensive here right now, but because he had a really good season. Yeah. So normally when he has a worse season, his value is a little bit lower, or you can buy him down the line. But he's already won by Chelsea, Man United, so might not get that chance. You also have another really good player. Let me see if I can find him. Santiago Gimenez, good player, good finishing off the ball, goes into channels, good striker. If you need a striker, he's a bit on the expensive side, but he's a good striker. He's young as well, so he'll go with you. Besides that, is any other player here? Obviously, look at their star players. I tend to go by agreed playing time because that means someone's agreed to be a star player, the team must rate them quite highly. So that's something that you can look at. Obviously, I looked at the top 3 here. I don't think there's any other team that I'll look at here. Let's go back to. Okay, again, another Sporting player, Ivan Fresneda, 19-year-old. He is a right defender. He's a good player as well, and fortunately here he hasn't played any game for Sporting, but he's young, and if you buy him, you can always loan him out and give him some game time. Continuing on the side of right backs, there is Vanderson, who is someone who can play ahead of Fresneda if you want. His value is probably going to be lower. Nope, it's actually going to be higher. So his value has increased. He's probably had a good season at Monaco. I wouldn't consider that a good season, but yeah, so he's a good option that you might be able to see down the line. His contract gets closer to expiring. Frimpong is another player that I would recommend. Here he has already gone to Real Madrid, but he starts off at Bayer Leverkusen. If you buy him probably like 40. Really good right defender. And then we go to the left side. Omar Campos is a really good young Mexican defender on the left. I actually rate this guy. I think he's really good. He has a lot to grow as well. And the Mexican League do have some players that are pretty interesting. A lot of Mexican players. Sometimes you check the national team, you see U22, you can get some players from. Sometimes if you check the teams, you know, go to age, Omar Campos, Santiago, see, you already found like some decent players. So go to national teams, also something that's underrated. Going to national teams, if you're a lower team, you might want to go to 20 or 22, but it's a good thing to do. Staying on the left side, we got Fran Garcia, 24 years of age, and he's a decent player. He's loaned at Bournemouth, and he had a 7 average rating. Yeah, he's pretty decent. And also, you can probably get him for cheap. And then we go to the midfield. We have Andre, a Fluminense player. He's a good player in the game, I will say. I will give him that. I've never actually signed him because he has personality. I don't remember. Balanced. Sometimes doesn't get along with other players, but he's a good player. If you need a defensive midfielder or central midfielder, I'll probably play him on defensive. He's better too, but he works there and he's quite cheap, so under 20 million. Sorry, let's see actually, his price is under 5 million max. Then we have Coop Miners, who's a really insane player, again Atalanta, and his release clause is 65 million. And if you're like a Manchester United, Arsenal, and you need that type of player, he is very good. I'll bring you that. Then we have Arda Güler, who is a Real Madrid player. Tends to stay there. His value will lower, so don't try maybe get him in the first season. You could if you wanted to, but if you just give him time, he normally won't become like a straight starter on the Real Madrid side before his contract. So 2 years his price will drop, but 50 million you can also loan him out, loan him into your team with optional or mandatory. See how he is. And then another player, Tomasio, good player. Normally Embolio get relegated in Serie A, so you don't have to buy him the first season. Maybe the second season they'll get relegated. They go up and down quite a lot. So he's a good player. Look at those, and he can play central, CAM, and sometimes he can play striker as well. Then we have one of my favorite wingers in this game, Savio. He's just an incredible player. He's doing having a great season in real life, but you can see here for 20 million you can get yourself a 20-year-old Brazilian winger that has beautiful dribbling, agility, flair, first touch, good crossing, cuts in from the inside. So he's a good player. He's a good player. I will give you that. That's one that you should sign whenever you have the chance. And then another winger, this time Colombian, so staying in South America. He's a really good player. You can get from 20 million or less. He will develop quite well. Play for Watford in the Championship. They do good things. This guy in a few years he will be worth probably like 100 million if he keeps playing. So, and then obviously we already saw Santiago. So that was it. I do have some other players that I see every now and then, but let me know in the comments if you like this type of video. Oh, one more thing actually. For newer players, always like if you're seeing players, trying to sign players, transfer listed players is a really overpowered way to find players. Cheap, so your scouts will be able to tell you like if priced. You know, Ivan Toney for 45 million. That's probably a good deal. See here, strong. He has a lot of positives. Didn't do too well for Brentford last season. Yeah, look at the transfer list. Also look at contract expiring before the season end. So like maybe like start of June, before like the season, the transfer window starts. Check out the contract expiring page, and after when the transfer window opens, you can try and check the contract expired as well. Normally you have contracts, some good players with contract expiring that you can actually kind of get quite easily. Actually, those are some good tips. People that are doing lower teams, or they don't quite have the money, because sometimes you're not gonna be able to get like spend 40 million, 50 million on players. So relying a lot on contract expiring is something I do on most of my rebuilds, because I can get players for cheap, or waiting out for their contracts, or buying someone from the transfer list. Because sometimes there are big clubs that are trying to get rid of some players and them fairly cheap. That's what I would recommend. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hit a like, subscribe, and leave a like, leave a comment if you like this type of video. Know what you guys think. I really want to know. Alright, good night, or good morning, or good afternoon.